Hey guys, how the hell are you? Welcome to an all-new iFAQ video. So, here we are, iFAQ number 11. Let's not waste any time whatsoever. Let's just get right on into the first question. Hey Arnold, what's your bass rig looking like? Using Neural DSP for the brutes? I am, yeah. Typically, you'll find me using Neural DSP Parallax. I really still love that plugin. That's kind of my go-to for bass stuff. Besides that, I also like to use the Neural DSP Dark Glass plugin, and occasionally I also will veer towards the SansAmp plugin that came with my Pro Tools edition. You know, it's one of those things that it doesn't always sound the best, but every so often it just sits a little bit better in the mix. For the bass itself, I'm either typically using my 6-string Dingwall NG3 or this kind of barely used LTD MD500 that I recently picked up just because I wanted something with a little bit more variety. Hey, I have an iFAQ. When you do your demo videos, are you actually tracking when we see you playing the guitar in the intro, or do you do the tracking beforehand and just sort of perform for the video? So for the past few years, everything that I've done when I'm doing the demo song at the beginning of the videos, I'm actually tracking it as I'm performing it. Even in those moments where I'm standing up, where I'm doing a little bit more stage movements, where I'm headbanging or whatever, I'm still tracking it. If you listen closely, you can probably hear some mistakes. But probably the last video where I didn't track anything live was probably the Glenn Tipton video, just because I was really obsessed with getting great takes for that Painkiller cover, that I really focused on that first and then just kind of mimicked it afterwards for the video. But since then, you know, I perform it as you're seeing me do it on video. I'm not going back and mimicking it later. Now, a lot of times what I will do is I will kind of track it once first so that I have a basic recording underneath so that I don't get lost, so that I know what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it, because otherwise I'm just playing along to a click and then afterwards I kind of put all the drums and stuff in later. So yeah, I do record like one track to go underneath, but then I'm actually recording as you guys are watching me do it. Any favorite preamp pedals for metal? Do you think a high-quality $1,000 to $1,500 pedal board can give you recording-worthy tones for an album, or does it have to be a real amp? So to answer the first part of your question, I've played a handful of great preamp pedals. I love the Rev stuff, but for my money, my absolute favorite preamp pedal is this KSR series. I will never ever get rid of this thing because it sounds that awesome. This is probably the closest thing I've ever heard to Kyle's tone in a more compact version. Yeah, this KSR series is absolutely fucking phenomenal, and I love how brutal this shit gets. So now to answer the second part of your question, I would say that it's open for debate and open for trial and error. I think if you really look for it, you can definitely get some absolutely killer tones out of just a killer preamp pedal, maybe an OD in front, and maybe something like a Seymour Duncan Power Stage or something after it, maybe some other pedal board friendly power amp. But for my money, I think it's a little bit better to run that preamp pedal into the effects return of a cheap tube amp. To me, like, I've always gotten a little bit better results with that. I'm sure that there are more pedal-friendly power amp designs that sound absolutely tits with just a preamp pedal in front. I'm just not that well versed in that to give you a perfectly good opinion on it. I would say shop around, see if you find something decent, ask around, hit up the Facebook groups, and hope. What do you think of the new Vader? Dude, I have kind of a love-hate thing with that new Vader. I love the music, I love the production and the mix job. I think it's some of the best Vader performances and music that we've heard in a long time from them. Because I am definitely one of those people that I love old school Vader, but my favorite album from them was Impressions in Blood. That record is ridiculously good, start to finish. Not a bad song on the record, if you ask me. And since then, they've been kind of putting out stuff that, you know, is still really, really awesome, but, you know, never quite matched that album for me. This new album, in terms of the overall performances and the mix, it's kind of getting up there. But my huge complaint with the new Vader album, those songs are way too fucking short. The music is so killer, I want to hear more of it. I'm used to the Vader that used to give us anywhere between 3 and 5 minute tunes all the goddamn time, and then there's so many songs on this new Vader record that are right around 2 minutes. To me, that's not enough. You know, yeah, it's cool to leave the fans wanting more, but it's infuriatingly leaving me wanting more, if that makes any sense. What's some unobtainium that you're gassing for, Arnold? I ask because I just got a Larry Groman Dino after lusting after one for years. Hey, kudos to you for getting that amp. That thing had to have run you a pretty penny to even get one. So, more power to you. So, to be honest with you, I don't really think there's anything that I would consider unobtainium that I'm trying to get or that I really wish I could get. I think that there's definitely some stuff that is a little bit frustrating to be after. Like, for instance, I really want a birth year instrument. And unfortunately, my birth year was the shittiest year for Fenders and arguably one of the best years for Gibsons. So Gibsons from that year, especially decent ones with the set neck, tend to be really super expensive, and Fenders seem to be really kind of crappy because that was the year of the 2-knob Strat. Ugh. And you know, so lately I've been looking into like Grecos and Tokais and stuff like that, made in Japan copies, so that I can get something from my birth year, or even like a birth year BC Rich. But what's frustrating about that is like the BC Riches from that era, the serial numbers are all over the fucking place, so it's tough to really determine what you're getting. There's some unobtainium. So BC Rich, I would love to get my hands on a reverse headstock Ironbird. It's kind of funny. It's like I always see these guys in all the various BC Rich groups online, on Instagram, that they seem to hoard the Ironbirds. And especially the guys that end up getting ones with reversed headstocks, or even that piece them together from various other instruments. They seem to get them, they seem to hang on to them, and they seem to just collect them. And it's a little frustrating for me. I kind of got really privy to the body blank thing and to the collecting of the old BC Riches a little bit after when I could have gotten them for decent prices. These days, a lot of those old, even some of the crappy BC Riches from back in the day, some of the Class Act stuff that's questionable, even some of that goes for just stupid prices. So, I mean, and I would love to consider a custom shop BC Rich or something along those lines that's an Ironbird with a reversed headstock, but, you know, I'm going to be extremely picky with that. Anyways, Yeah, so maybe a reverse headstock Ironbird. How do you feel about, say, a 50-watt tube head versus a Seymour Duncan power stage and preamp pedal for live applications? So I kind of touched on this in an earlier question a little bit. I don't have any real experience with a power stage, to be honest with you. Maybe I've played through one at a booth at NAMM or something like that, and I just don't remember. But to be honest, I have yet to actually get my hands on a Duncan power stage and actually see what it can do and what sort of tone comes from it. That being said, I love running my KSR into the effects return of my high watt. I think it sounds legit amazing. And when I brought it over to Jason's house one time, we ran it into a Marshall DSL, and dude, that thing into a Marshall DSL that has an effects loop and that has a deep switch, which or basically any amp that has some sort of resonance control, that preamp pedal absolutely killed in that application. So, I mean, I think it's just down to trying out a few things and seeing what works best for you. I don't see why it couldn't work, but without having firsthand experience of that power stage, I can't really compare that to something else. And now it's time for this week's Troll of the Week. And this week's Troll of the Week writes, "You're a bit annoying, not gonna lie. Hey, no problem, man. I have got a solution for you, because not only do I provide feedback and commentary on all this gear that I review, I also am striving to provide helpful feedback to you guys, the viewers. So you find me a bit annoying? No problem. Fuck off and go watch somebody else. That's fine. You don't need to watch me if you have any sort of issue with me. Go watch someone else. But, you know, oh, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to type out that, oh, I don't like you. Oh, wow. I'm so proud of you for being able to access your keyboard and actually two-finger type that shit out and leave it in my comments section. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this iFAQ video. The last iFAQ video, I did mention that I was going to shorten these up a little bit, and I definitely did that. But a lot of you guys did voice your concern of, you know, not necessarily wanting me to shorten it too much. So I kind of split the difference a little bit. 7 questions here. Hopefully this is nice and digestible. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Would you like longer videos? Would you like shorter videos? Is 7 questions a good manageable amount? I'm open to your guys' feedback. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments section. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. There's lots more metal guitar-oriented content to come. And remember, take what you do seriously, but don't take yourself seriously.